Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today's an episode 185. Welcome back, and today we talk about the manifestation one-on-one on Twin Flames and Union energy. On Twin Flame path and on this awakening journey, we often think that if I send love to my twin, if I do everything right, my twin will return back to me, and the more I focus on them, the more they will return, or I cannot get them out of my head, so how can I even manifest them back? And then also, what is up with our soul journey, our energy, and our subconscious mind? How all of these three are connected to one another. So what are the things you can manifest, and what are the things that soul has already chosen? On this twin flame journey, you can hear, and many other spiritual teachings, you can hear what's meant for you will be staying there. What is already here will be yours, regardless of your inner energy, your subconscious mind, or what the soul is there. But today I want to really go through and explain you each of these aspects. Because if you are about to start living from the space of your higher self, these three layers are very important, meaning of your soul, who is here as expressing as a higher self, your subconscious mind, and the union energy. So I will go step by step explaining it today. Right before I want to go into this, I really would like to ask some of your help, because just recently someone on YouTube commented that the channel is not appearing on the feed whatsoever, even though they have been subscribing and all of this. I know I'm not here to reach today all of the people and so on, but if YouTube has put some shadow banning or however it's there, I don't know about it. Would you mind right now, if you're listening this on YouTube, leave a comment straight ahead, whether it's divine union, whether it's how you're feeling, whether you have some question about it, or something you wish to share, just because of helping so-called the algorithm to get back to the people who are subscribing this channel. Because the comment that I received was, you may be aware of this, but if not, I wanted to say your wonderful channel is not searchable for me. I have notifications turned on, but I can miss months of your content if I don't see it real time, and YouTube doesn't have a search feature specific to my subs page. I have to scroll through hundreds of channels to find you, and I just realized I haven't heard a video from you since 2025 when I happened to catch today's notifications. Has anyone else had this issue where you use the advanced search function and the search channel called Twin Flames, and there are millions of results, but never this one? And I have said that I know that all of the media companies and everything are living from the space of sharing dopamine function content, where I say, if you don't try these 5 things, or if you don't do this, or so on and so on. I've said I will not make a dopamine kind of a content. I share what my higher self needs to share with all of you, and it reaches to the people exactly who needs to listen and hear about it. But as you can see, some people don't see it in some reasons. So if you're listening this by any chance on YouTube, same on Spotify, of course, but maybe you have these 2 seconds to leave a comment and see if it will help to come out of the situation that is there. And if not, that's absolutely fine as well. You are here, my love, and I am happy to be connected to you. But let's start from the beginning today, as there is so much information about manifestation. The manifestation is like one of the most popular words on planet Earth. Manifest this, manifest that. This is how I manifested all of this. And we constantly manifest. But haven't you noticed that we can also manifest things from the same loop? Meaning of you keep manifesting same things in your life over and over again, but somehow you can never reach higher or in a different state. And that's where all of the soul's purpose, subconscious mind, and energy will come into. So I can say that, I just say quickly, soul purpose, pre-chosen path. Resonance into subconscious mind, which is your inner mirror, and reflection is the union energy, vibrational field. And I will explain this step by step. Really, don't miss this one because that will be a game changer how you are seeing your life. So, as I said about it, what is manifestation overall? So, we believe, or maybe not you, but of course, in the very popular teachings, we have seen that you have positive affirmation and the idea that you simply think things into existence and they will appear. But actually, it is a much more profound energetic law. That's why you can think about it that why do I have these things in my life and I cannot have these other things? So the true manifestation is not about getting things from the thin air. It is about becoming so internally aligned with reality that the outer world has no choice to reflect it back. And I have said that millions and millions of times. On Twin Flame Journey, I am not going to sell you here, or I'm not going to force you, or I'm not going to tell you your happiness will come when you have the relationship in your life. I'm not going to get your twin flame back to you. It happens naturally when you become your higher self. All of the things will become naturally happening. And we get into to know about this in a soul's purpose and in a soul's journey, and you see how simple it is actually. That's another thing on Twin Flame Journey, and we believe we have a lot of beliefs around the separation is hard. It's going to take a lot of time. When is the divine timing going to happen? So there's all the truth in everything, but our system will make sure how long is the divine timing and how long it will, in a way of take, or how much we're going to suffer. And that's why from the very beginning I have said, I am not going to sell you something that actually you don't need. What you need is to live from the higher self and automatically attract everything. That's why we don't somehow ever manifest our twin flame. And I'm going to explain this in detail today if you wish, because that will be a life-changing for you on this journey. And long back ago, I have this one of the episodes where I talk about all the laws of resonance, laws of universe, like all of this is there. And on manifestation, we have a law of assumption. So your accepted inner state becomes your outer experience. Not what you're hoping for, and not what you were just wishing for, that I wish my twin flame comes back, and what you somehow assume to be true in your body, in your subconscious. It's the every cell of your nervous system that will come into space. That's why in the previous episodes and over again, I talk about the energy. I know I can be annoying about that. I'm sorry. I don't want to be annoying, but repetition is a king. Meaning of the more we repeat something, it helps us to realize, I don't get there with my mind. I do have to get there with my nervous system. All of these working together. So when I talk about nervous system, I spoke about this on a previous episode where I said, I am a bit sneaky. Yes, you're coming for the activation. You will think, I just lie down here. I'm listening to the good music. Doesn't matter. But it is shifting your nervous system and your subconscious at this time. So even though you would think that you had just 45 minutes of listening to the beautiful music, you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. And all of a sudden you can wake up and you start making different decisions you never made before. You might start eating different things you ever had it before, and you don't even know why. And this is why it gets very beautiful and humbling on Twin Flame Journey. Because when we understand how manifestation really works, we also understand why union is not something we can force, we rush, or we fix from the place of lack. And yet at the same time, as I mentioned many times over and over and over again, your inner work is the most powerful thing we can do for this connection. And there is nothing more powerful. Your outer world reflects your inner conditioning, your beliefs, assumptions, and identity patterns. So let's go into our soul, because many of you can say, well, what's already written in there, it's already written. My soul has chosen this path. I am over here. And that's true too. And that's very important. Why I talk about it? Because of before you took this body, your soul made agreements. And these are sometimes called, we can call them soul contracts, blueprints, that it will show you the key relationships or life lessons that you came here to learn, and the particular path of your growth your soul came here to walk. So this is not so-called fate that happens. Free will is still there. So it might happen that what you were making up as a soul, you said, I want to come and experience love. But you also gonna, in order to experience love, you have to experience also the heartbreak to understand it's love. We come here, that's why there are polarities, to experience everything. But in order to experience as a soul, we need a contrast. So we're gonna feel happiness and we're gonna feel sadness. We're gonna feel day, we're gonna feel the night, because otherwise our consciousness that is living, or the higher self that is living in this body, will not be able to understand what am I exactly experiencing. Because just to say, if you're experiencing your whole life just love and never had a heartbreak, never felt lonely, you might not be able to even understand that you are experiencing love. Because it's the whole state, it's all the time. So now we give a contrast to it. You get the heartbreak. So now you know what the love feels like. And it's the same, sugar and salt. A good energy and a bad energy, where you feel that someone is glowing, happy, you see it. And then you feel another one who comes, I had a bad day, this and that. And you can make a sense that I don't like that energy so much. But the free will still exists. But in the way of the framework, it's already constructed. So it's already there. And here's the reason I talk about becoming higher self. Becoming your higher self is essential for this journey. It's mandatory. Like I said, you came to experience something, but you are also going to be in service one form or another. That's why when the Kundalini gets activated inside of you while you are on this path, it's gonna destroy everything that is old. That's why many of you are experiencing on this journey a job loss, financial difficulties. Friends might disappear. You might feel very, very lonely. You might have some health issues. All of these things are helping you to become who you're supposed to become. Now, it might not make any sense to the mind, because your mind is used to with an old life. And now when you're losing a job, or you're losing the clients, or you're losing what is supposed to be there, you feel, oh my God, my life is over. And then the higher self starts to whisper through your body that it's time to go and do this. It's time to go and be that. It's time to start this. And you would think, but that's not me. That's why the ego death obviously happens over there. It was the same for me in that sense about this podcast. I did not want to start this podcast. I did not want to share And then after the retreat I went to and I did it, my soul was like, now it's time to share this. But my ego felt, no, 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 that's not me. Well, here we go. I'm not saying that everybody needs to start their own podcast or things like that. What I mean is you need to start listening what your soul is telling you to do next and follow that path. My life today makes zero sense. At the same time, I never lived more fulfilled than I live today, and that is a gift. I know that it's difficult to hear when I say that in a way that how my journey is, but I have never felt more fulfilled. And I don't ask every one of you to live the way I do, not at all. But if you get to have a taste of that fulfillment, you also don't want the other one anymore. That's why I say we need the contrast. We need to know what is the loss and what is where we win. We need to feel what is a fulfillment and what is a separation. All of this we need to feel, and we're going to feel on this journey. All of us. All of us as humans, we are going to feel the contrast. That's why the judgment is not going to help us anyone, and judgment towards yourself will not help you. If you feel that you are doing something wrong on this journey or you don't know what to do on this journey, it's okay. You don't have to have all the answers. But just listen a little bit of the inner voice more and more and more. Don't stay in the separation consciousness. You're going to experience the separation for a reason. So I want to bring it back that meeting your twin flame was always going to happen. Always. And I've said that on my previous episodes. When you're looking back on your journey, from your childhood or from the decisions you made, you realize that everything, you can even write or make a picture today, how everything was leading up to you to meet that person in this time. It was all orchestrated. How you happened to be on this random place at this time, how you met this, how all of this happened so somehow randomly, and at the same time it made all sense to you. And there was this another day made me laugh. I don't know if my mother said to me that, so my birthday was, and my mom goes, yeah, you were supposed to be born on the 19th. And that's where my twins' birthday is. And I just started laughing. I said, of course, my due date was the 19th. Of course. But then I decided to come a little earlier to bring a little contrast. I tell you, this journey is funny sometimes. And I know when you're listening to me right now, you think there's nothing funny about that. Where is my twin flame? I want to manifest my twin flame back because that separation is killing me. But I believe after today's episode, you are in a much closer state than you ever been before. Because it's very simple. Manifestation 101. So, the meeting of your twin flame was always going to happen, whether you believe in it or not. This journey was always part of the plan. Your soul wanted to come and experience how I'm going to experience the highest of the highest, and at the same time, lowest of the lowest, to realize which way I want to bring my creative fulfillment into this world. So the pain is helping you to understand what is the love and how we should live there. But it depends now on our free will and how you're going to navigate it. Whether you lean into the growth or resist it. And whether you heal in this lifetime or carry the lessons forward. This is so important. I mentioned about the podcast before. I said to you that my life changing was when, and here is another thing, we're going to go into subconscious today, but I'm already jumping forward for this. Many times when, I'm not going to say about my retreats or workshops or any of these things. I'm not saying that you are not joining my retreat. What kind of soul are you? No, not at all. But what I try to bring you the subconscious belief in it because I had it too. Many times when, let's say, your soul wants you to be somewhere. But then let's say you have some subconscious beliefs around money or finances or time, or can I take myself this time? I remember I always felt guilty when I did something just for myself. So my old program was like this, that when I went on a holiday, I always worked on the holidays because of I felt I have to provide for everyone. But let's say when I used to go on a holiday, I felt so guilty that I'm on a holiday. So I make sure that my friends or family can also go somewhere or they can have a nice time. So I was guilty of giving myself something. And the universe felt that. It was like, okay, you want to go it hard way? Let's go hard way. Or the same thing that and when I went on the retreat, and I want to talk about the money, some people can think, but I don't have the money to go there. It's too expensive, or how can I afford this? But if your soul wants you to be there, believe me, your soul will make all the ways happen, and you will make double the money later or triple the money later. Because this is the next spot. Again, I don't want to say that you have to come to my retreats or you have to come to my workshops. No, what I mean is there are tons of them out there. And if something your soul is calling for you, but you start to have the limiting belief, I don't have the finances, I don't have the time, I can't take off from my family because of my husband or my children, or they all need me. Really listen to your soul, because the more you resist, the more you're going to be in pain. Money, for example, nowadays where we live in the world, is not real. And plus, you're not really going to take the money with you when you are going out of this. The money is given for you to have the experiences. The money is given for you to get to the next stages. So it's like in a video game. You get some money to get to the next stage. You collect some coins and then you go to the next stage. But then in between, you have to spend your coins to get to the next level. So it's all pretty much the same. And as I said, I had guilt of spending money on myself. I still do. I would think hours before I would buy myself, I don't know, pants. And then meanwhile, my children or somebody else asks me, can I have this? And I'm like, yes, of course, no problem. It's crazy. But of course, now I have an awareness of that. So I know I'm doing it. And I'll do the decision faster than I used to. But it just, why I talk about it is because when I went on a retreat, I wasn't sure if in a way of I can do that. We had just moved and there were a lot of things that were going on. But then the God universe said to me, you have to be there. And many of you have asked me why so many things changed after this. Was exactly that I had the out of body experience. So I had a breath work where I went out of the body and I saw that this journey is real. It's not something I made it up. And that brought me a lot of peace because I realized I'm not crazy. This so called twin flame thing is not something in my head, it is so called real. And the more I connected to it, the more it was reflecting on 3D. So, why I talk about it on a soul's purpose, because a lot of people can say, okay, my soul chose this, what to do with energy. There is a lot in common. All three of these aspects, your soul's journey, your subconscious mind, and your energy are all intertwined. It doesn't work without one another. And in a sense of manifestation, in a sense of everything, because you are the creator of the reality. But also on Twin Flame Journey, how we're going to manifest our twin flame and all of that, I'll explain it. So I go back to that soul now. Your pre-chosen architecture, the major relationship, growth, soul lessons in this lifetime were somehow blueprinted before you came into this world. So the twin flame connection is in your blueprint. And I highly recommend you to take a paper today and start putting down as a visual, what did you do? Where did you go? What was leading up to you? What were the clues you heard about it as a child before? And then all of a sudden you start seeing, this was already prearranged. I had nothing to do here. That's why many of you don't hear about twin flames until you are on this journey. And they don't exist. And once you are on this journey, it all makes sense. Then we have soul amnesia at birth. We arrived here, no conscious memory of disagreements. And this is by design. And why? Many of you will be thinking, why? Because the soul's journey of remembering is the journey itself. And I mentioned that many, many times. You're here to remember what feels love and what feels separation or loss. What is the grief and what is the happiness or oneness? What is the birth and what is the death? We can experience all of the contrast. The life is a full contrast. I explained about this another day. I listened to something very beautiful. I've shared a little bit, I think, in my life where I have sometimes very subtle trigger of people who, let's say, are spiritual or religious. It doesn't matter for me. But when they pray for God or they connect to it and they pretend, or not pretending, but they go and pray for God of saying, I want this, I want that, God do for me. And also portray themselves very spiritual or very religious. But once they are out of the church, or once they're out of their prayer, or once they're out of their meditation, they get up and they will harm children, or they will harm their colleague, or they gossip or they hit animals. I don't know, whatever they do. And that has always been a big trigger for me because I'm like, how? How? But then I listened to another day something and I love the answer so deeply. So I'm willing to share this with you. I was saying that everything in this world has to have a very strong contrast that you could understand where are you standing at. Meaning of that the bad is not bad. It just gives you a complete, let's say, if there aren't negative energies, you would never know that there are positive ones. So someone has to portray the negativity for you to bring the different outcome and also your soul's purpose. So somehow their purpose is to be negative. Is it good? No, I think it's a very, very hard one. But somehow we have to experience the contrast. And the God has made the universe this way that we experience the contrast in every aspect. Is it fair? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that some things that are happening in this world, that this is nice and some souls have to suffer so much. No, not at all. But at the same time, it gives purpose to some people to go and fight for it in a way of standing up and saying enough is enough and all these kind of things. So it's a very broad, and I'm not going to say that I agree with everything, but it also reflects a lot how we see it. Are we able to stay who we are, or are we going to go into the same thing? Because every coin has two sides. So an awakening on a twin flame dynamic is somehow so recognizing what is already new. You already knew all of that. And now that's why the so-called Kundalini brings you back to the fun, to the where you are. So free will within a framework. So soul agreements cannot be voided. That's why when we think that I married my husband who was a complete abuser, who was this, who was that, all of this, you decided that. As bittersweet as it sounds. Because in the beginning, when you went to the relationship, don't you remember that you were loving that person? Because of the soul, what we have reset, let's say, thinking as an agreement, and let's say you will resist, but it will come in another form if it's resisted. So how you engage, how quickly you grow, and how deeply you heal is all where your free will has power. That's all where your power lies. And that's very important. So you are here. You and your twin flame are created by the divine at the same moment, the same soul essence, split into two. You have codes inside of you that only fully make sense in this presence when it happens. So now we are coming into our the inner world that reflects outwards, and that where is our subconscious coming in. Those of you who were on the workshop, we dive deep into our subconscious mind, and that's where we manifest also. Most of these workshops are out on Patreon. You can go over, you have a free sign up for 7 days, I think, so you can do 7 days in a row for free. Later, I believe it's $5.99. Maybe there are added some fees on it, I'm not sure. But I've always said I keep a very low fee for it just to keep it going. I don't want to put myself, oh, look at me, I'm so smart and come to this. It's not about that. But the value of these workshops are incredible. So if the soul's blueprint is somehow already in place, it knows, then your subconscious mind is now what's going to build it. So every belief you have about yourself, about love, about whether you are worthy of union, these are the programs that are actually running 24 hours of your day and very quietly constructing the reality of you inhabit. And your subconscious really does not make a difference between imagination and experience. It responds to the repetition and the emotions, what you have. So what you feel consistently, it accepts as a truth and then projects outward. And that's the reason I have said many, many times. Do not consume information about how your divine masculine is the runner, or how the separation is painful, or, for example, how union is not possible, or it will take time and you need to go through the pain. The more you consume this information, the more you are going to believe that. And in our on workshop, I spoke about it, that it's 95% of your life is run by the program. 95%. So you believe that you're making decisions while it's the program. And that program might have been written when you were 3 years old. That's why we see often adults are, when they are in a conflict or fighting, they're fighting from the place when they were a child, let's say under 7-year-old. They have the same patterns, whether they become silent, whether they become a fixer, whether they become very aggressive and they need to stamp their feet, because they have not learned to solve the conflict as an adult, because they are still now an adult, but with the subconscious belief of a 3-year-old. And that is a quite dangerous one, because now you are unable to make better decisions than as a 3-year-old. And to be honest, as a 3-year-old, when we stamp our feet, that's okay. But when you are a 45-year-old woman or a man and you're still stamping your feet, I don't think it's the best, and it's harmful for you. And this is why I've also explained a lot about why on a twin flame journey, everything that has not yet been loved within you, because your counterpart is not separate from you at the energetic level. It acts exactly like your mirror. And so whatever was there in your program, and even it can be later in your adult life, is now running the show. So for example, if you felt loneliness as a kid, or if you were bullied as a child, or if you grew up with a limiting belief that, let's say, I can't have this, or I have to suffer for love, or you saw your parents suffering for love, or you saw your friends, or however, now unfortunately this journey is running the show. And when our Kundalini gets activated, that's also one of the reasons why I love the Kundalini so much, because it works directly our nervous system and our subconscious mind. That's why it's gonna bring the biggest ego death you ever gonna go, because it's reprogramming your system within you. And Kundalini is very, very intelligent. It will never harm you. And those stories that Kundalini will do this to you and it's bad and you shouldn't be practicing it or things like this, it's a complete nonsense. Kundalini knows what are you trying to hide, lie, or where are you programmed. And that's why you're going to have a big life changes inside of you, because Kundalini puts you on a path. It clears up the noise or that program that was there. That's why also you can have a very strong way of living in this world where you feel no longer connected to the TV shows you used to watch, or the food you used to love, or the drinks you used to drink. None of this makes any more sense in your life. And I know many of you have stopped watching news, for example. I don't have news apps since 2022. I have no idea. I know briefly what's happening in the world, but I don't follow any of this because it doesn't give me absolutely nothing, as now I understand. So, all of these things that are happening are not just accidental. The Kundalini is very, very intelligent. And that's why it happens there, because you've been conditioned to live in a place where you're not supposed to. And I know I am super annoying when I say that you are given a gift by being on this journey. But if you can start today programming yourself that this is actually a gift, I am sensing love I could have never sensed before, you will start also seeing the change. And here is why many of the people cannot change themselves, because the subconscious is running the program. You know how many people have started diets or thinking, I will now be more fit, I will now do this, I will now be more disciplined. And then there is a program that starts to tell you, you are like this, you are lazy, you are now very talented. Whatever you heard as a child, you cannot do this or you cannot do that. And here we go. So that's why, my dear twin flame, who you are here, you are given a gift and take the most of it. Not by waiting for your twin, not by manifesting your twin, but by becoming your higher self and listening where it's supposed to go. Because that is a very important part. Now we have our subconscious program that tells you, you are this, you are that you can't do this, this is what you're supposed to do. Because some kids, they grow up and the parents will tell you, only way for you to become successful is become a lawyer or a doctor or this and that. And you can never discover what your soul came here to do it. So then you become a lawyer, you're quite an average lawyer, not really good at this. You hate your job from the bottom of your heart, but because that was the right thing to do. Meanwhile, the soul is screaming inside of you and says, you were never supposed to be a lawyer. Why? You were supposed to be this. This is why we also see the difference in people who living from their higher self, that money comes to them, opportunities come to them, people come to them. They are in their flow and you'll be wondering, I will do the same thing. You take the same blueprint, but it doesn't work for you because that's not who you are. The same elephant is not going to be as good swimmer as is as fish. Simple as that. And fish knows that I am a good swimmer, but not so good maybe of, I don't know, climbing on top of the trees. I'm not a monkey. Same with you. It's inside of you. And that's why the programming is very, very dangerous. I know as parents, I know as everything, we want the best for our children. But I tell you, the best for our children is for them to discover who they are by themselves, step by step, and same for us. That's why we are lost in our soul's purpose. We don't know because the system says you are a good person if you earn X amount of money, if you're this, if you're that. Meanwhile, you cannot barely breathe. And now you met your twin flame that activated all of it and removed all of the blueprints that you had in, not the blueprints, your subconscious beliefs. I'm going back to the podcast, and this podcast is not the only thing. The retreats, the workshops, the things I say on this things, and also in my other work. I mentioned that, I think, on the last time when I was in a conference that has nothing to do with energy and people surround me around energy. There's nothing wrong of my job. I'm very good at what I do. But my soul said, if you love your job, that's beautiful. But you need to serve me in a certain ways. You need to be the example. And here we go. The less I was resisting against it, the less I started to become. So that's why the becoming your higher self and living from that space is incredibly powerful. And what I want to say that there is no one to change but self. And please take that sentence with you. There is no one to change but self. I know we want to change our twin flame. We want them to understand. We want them to see. The people and circumstances in your life are, in a profound sense, your own consciousness pushed outward into a form. And this is not a blame framework, and I really want to stay on this. It's a liberation. I don't want to say that you need to suffer and blame and, oh, look at you, you don't understand anything. So simple. No, 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 no. We should never blame ourselves. We should never judge ourselves. We should never say anything bad about it. So if the outer world is reflecting your inner state, then changing your inner state genuinely changes what the outer world has available to reflect. So what I'm trying to tell you is that your soul has a blueprint. Now your subconscious programs, beliefs, wounds, body, nervous system, energetic field projects into outer reality. Circumstances, relationship, your twin flame dynamic, everything is there and it works together. So your subconscious has a meaning on this journey. So I've seen this over and over again. And I don't share this so much because it's very discouraging and you'll be thinking, why I should even do that. But when we don't go energy-wise, that's why the energy activations or the inner dance, or now when it comes, also we're going to go through the layers of the subconscious on the consultation calls, why it matters. Because when we don't change that nervous system over there, you can get your twin flame back. I guarantee you, you can get your twin flame back with your mind. You can call them, you can tell them, and even though you can have the recognition and love again, and you say, oh, they are here, a couple of months go by and you're looping the same loop over and over and over again. Yes, you can have your twin flame, but are you looping the same love? Is your love feeling freedom? And some people can say that healing doesn't matter on this journey. It does. It does matter. So the next part of this is that now because it's neuroscience and we are biological, chemical, and energetic beings. You can agree or disagree with me, but we are. So this is why when we have repeated thoughts and emotions, we physically rewire our pathway. So your brain literally begins filtering the reality to surface evidence of that truth. And if you assume I am always abundant, it's the same in the opposite direction. So what I'm trying to tell you that if you believe that I am chosen, I am loved, it's going to happen. But it's not only belief system. It has to subconsciously first, we have to release the abandonment. And that's what the Kundalini does, actually. So certain ways, you don't have to do anything. What you have to do is letting the Kundalini go wild inside of your body and rewire it. That's how simple it is. So those of you who are feeling enormous sexual energy, you're feeling a lot of, let's say you shiver, you shake, you wake up, the energy is wild inside of you. Let it happen. I know it's scary. I know. It's not so much fun. So now let's go into the place of what you can and you cannot manifest. Now, it's not a limiting belief. It is a law of energy and law of souls. And that's something we do need to um, uh, respect and understand. So there is a very important difference between manifesting your own reality and attempting to manifest outcomes that involve another sovereign soul. And understanding this is not that it's going to limit, like I said, it's not a limiting belief. It's actually into a genuine power. So we would think of, and I spoke about this previously as well, that people would come on the activations and they would think, I come here because like this, I can manifest my twin back to my life. So it all is good. But you cannot manifest anyone back into your life because they have a free will as well. You can connect from the energetic field. Heart Math Institute, I really recommend go through that, clearly has stated that people who have spending an emotional bond together, they are also giving energy to one another. And I'm going to go into detailed explanation what happens when you are in grief, what kind of energy you are giving to your twin and what they are feeling. And same way if they are feeling it, what you gonna feel. It's not a mambo jumbo, me making up. It's all based on law, based on our energy, based on everything. So I really want to go into what you can manifest. And when I say you this, what you can manifest, it's life-changing. Because when you are able to shift that, you will stop doing what you're doing today. All right? So you can manifest your own vibrational frequency and inner state. Healing of your subconscious wounds and limiting beliefs. Your readiness for union, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. Become clear about your soul path and purpose. That's where the higher self becomes in. You need to start listening to that soul, to that essence that is there, that is telling you, I'm going to give you everything until you're going to listen. Then comes aligned opportunities, all the synchronicities, all the meetings you're going to have. Many of us think that if I don't follow, let's say your life is completely falling apart. Hands up for those, you can leave in the comments, who life fell completely apart. The job, the friendships, everything fell apart. But it had to fall apart in order for you to fall into place. And now every meeting, every synchronicity you're going to have is guided by something higher. So the life and self that you want to inhabit, that's what you can manifest now without waiting. You don't have to wait for it. You can really have everything you want right now, right here. Loving relationship, connection. And you have heard me saying a lot on this twin flame journey that you will never lose on this journey. You will never ever lose if you become a higher self. And now the limiting mind, the subconscious belief comes in and says, yes, but if I don't have my twin flame, I'm not going to be happy. Boom. Here you are now limiting because you believe that the happiness is another person. And that's dangerous. That is a very, very dangerous. So trust and safety and openness in your nervous system, deep unconditional love for yourself and your twin. You have to see that from the place of love, but not a fake love, but really from the love. So what are the things you cannot manifest? Another person's free will or choices. So now think about it. Let's say there is a Brad out there and Brad loves you. And Brad is like, no matter what, you're going to love me. So takes your free will away and says, you're going to love me because I love you. I want you. And steals your free will. It doesn't work like that. You cannot, because even though you are from the same source, you have different soul contracts, different soul's path, different things to do, and different subconscious. You cannot remove that for anyone. And that's also where it comes in that we cannot change anybody. We cannot heal anybody. They can do them by themselves. You can be the mirror for that. And that's the beauty. But thinking that I was the one who healed someone or I was the one who's going to get somewhere doesn't work like that. So we don't want this to happen to us, then we cannot do this to somebody else either. Again, the fact that we hear over and over and over again, you have to go within, shift what has to be shifted, and it will happen. There's a very big issue also on twin flame communities, or when we have this, that the belief system, I will not be happy or satisfied if I don't have that person in my life. And I really highly recommending, if you're listening to this today, try to alchemize this belief, because that's not true. No other person, even if you get this person, and believe me, your twin will always return to your life. They will never disappear. Never ever. But they are not the end goal. And they can come to your life, and then the loop will start over and over. And I'm just going to tell you this from the experience I have seen and understanding the energetic law. So try to work on that belief, because when you work on that belief, you don't have to feel that this is the person, and it will become so much more harmonious. So another thing is what we often see about is like forcing the timeline of your twins awakening. So some twins don't awaken, and so then we think the more inner work I do, the more spiritual I am, and that will going to impact and affect them. Of course, everything that we do has an impact, but we cannot force anything. Same way we cannot force healing, we cannot force change, we cannot force to see what person is not willing to see. Physical union through a mental effort alone. That is, I know where you are at when you're waiting for the message, when you're waiting for the truth, when you're waiting. I know that, being on that same spiral, and I know all of this. So it's not something I am belittling this by saying, oh no, you're doing everything wrong. You're not doing absolutely anything wrong. It's just now when you are understanding that these methods will not get me there, why am I putting my energy into that? The same thing, for example, that you will like to, I don't know, let's say you want to lose weight because this is the most common one, or you want to earn more extra money, easier to measure it. So, for example, if you are doing the workout that is not as efficient what your goal is, why to put the energy in there? Put the energy into where is the workout is helping you. And another day I overheard a person who was saying to me that it's so pointless to invest in the coaches. If I want to do something, I can look it up on internet and do it. True, I used to have the same mindset, that why I should pay for someone who will coach me the things I can get it online. But the truth is, if you are connecting to the coach who has been through every single step, they get you there faster, because they know that this will not work, this will not work, this we can erase, this we can do that, and now you're going to do this, and your results are much faster. The fact that eventually I started to have mentors and coaches for myself, because I realized they get there, with them I get there much faster. Why I have to use the method try and fail, fail and try, instead of investing. And I've said one of the thing over and over again, thing where I don't regret spending my money is energy. And exactly mentoring, coaching, all of these kind of things. They have been life-changing for me, because another person gives me a formula that they went through and saying this will work and this will not. So up to you. That's why we go to, you go to the doctors who know the things. You're not going to the intern who is just starting, because they might be just figuring out where they are standing at. So you want to go to the doctor who has 20 years of experience. So how it is. And another thing of manifestation and things like this, I'm going to say there's a lot of noise out there, but things are much more simple than they sound. And when you are able to connect to that fact and change that has to be hard and I cannot have this, of course, it will take time. So, bypassing the inner work through, like I said, external manifestation techniques, going through a soul contract's timing. So, saying, as I feel this right now, you have to feel it too, doesn't work. Skipping that growth that the separation is designed to facilitate. The separation has a meaning. I always have said, whoever designed the so called twin flame dynamics is a very intelligent being, knows very well everything, and we cannot skip that part, even though we would like to. And somehow making the union happen from the place of lack and desperation. So, the soul contract between twin flame exists to ensure that both of the twin flames are going to have a soul growth. But the universe does not deliver union to those who are still using to fill the void. So when you are now in a separation, in a grief, in a sadness, all of that, beautiful. Congratulations. Now from here we alchemize it. Okay? It's not a bad place to be in. We're going to alchemize and trust the Kundalini. The Kundalini knows what it does. You just open the ears and start listening. So, because everything you can manifest everything inside of you. So, true manifestation is not begging the universe, is not saying, I need that, I want that, this, that. It is a inner discipline of becoming a person whom desired reality already feels normal, believable, and internally complete. And I have many times brought this as an example over and over and over again, that you cannot, like, if you have in your life, let's say you have, that's why, when there are tips jar somewhere, when it's empty, but you always put like a seed money in it, and then money grows. Same is with love. When there is no love in your life, there's no love. And once you have love, it starts to, everybody's interested in you. But it comes internally. And I can tell you again from my own experience. So I just want to stop very quickly on this because I've spoken about this, but right now I just do a very quick one. We continue on the next episode, but I'll just quickly go. The energetics of so-called twin flame union. So union is not the physical event. And I would write you down, please write this down. Union is not a physical event. Union first exists only in a vibrational way. So the frequency that both of the souls somehow must connect to, embody, feel it, so that the physical reunion can be sustained. And I'm going to underline here both souls. You have no idea how many twin flames who have done the Kundalini activations with me, who have done the coaching with me, who have gone to the retreats, have got back to their twins. I don't share this because I don't measure this journey regarding to this, but their twin is coming back to them. But now what happens is the other one is not there yet. And they feel, I have to let you go to grow and see the world. And that has happened so many times. I know you don't believe me today, but it is truth. So that 5D, what we talk about, 5D is from the heart space. 5D is not out of this world. It's not in some other dimension somewhere. 5D dimension is from the heart space. It always makes me laugh when people say we are moving towards 5D. Their idea is that the world will change. Somehow, yes, it will change because we start living from the place of heart. 5D is a heart space, which means we experience things without this 3D construct. So 5D or soul level union is when you merge the divine masculine and divine feminine energies, an alignment of your chakra system, and your electromagnetic field. And then the 3D union comes naturally by itself. So that's why on Twin Flame Journey also you have synchronicities with your twin flame. You have dreams you're sharing together. Telepathic knowing, even if there is a separation, you know what your twin feels. Because the connection is not only physical. And in the same way the soul is creating energetic bond that is between time and space. It doesn't make sense. That's the 5D. 5D is very hard for our 3D constructed mind to understand. And when one twin heals, the other one feels it. And there's no doubt in that. And when one twin raises the frequency, the field between them shifts. But that doesn't force the other person to change and shift, even though they get the higher message. So it's a very, very important. So on the next episode, where we're gonna go from here is I'm gonna give you step by step, what do you really need to truly manifest? What really is gonna change you? And I'm gonna bring you every single things that what is gonna, let's say, what is this emotion or feeling is gonna change. And that might help you to realize, oh my God, my program has been running for that for so long and I didn't even notice it. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for connecting. It means the world to me, and I'm so happy that you are here. That we are in Italy very soon, but also Cyprus retreat is there, and we have 5 more or 4 more spots, so don't miss that out. It's a very intimate session. It's a very deep, we're gonna go deep layers there. So while our Italy retreat is all about awakening the love and all of this, then Cyprus retreat will be for you to step fully into a new person who you don't know yet, but your soul is calling for you, and that's why you met your twin. Anyways, these were the things for today. I hope it was helpful to understand that soul contract, your subconscious mind and energy are not separate from each other, no matter how much we want to think of that. I appreciate you here a lot. I am so thankful that every one of you is here. If you wish to book the session, if you want to go into the next stage, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. There we go. Please note that I will be away for quite some time, so book it now, either advance or after the session. In June, you still have a discount code you can use, 1111. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best and lots of love and light.
Our love is a painting on the wall. I am the shadows and you're the storm. Wherever the wind blows, I'll move along. We're perfect together, but I can't change the weather. Somewhere between the clouds, I think I saw the sky, and we could paint it blue, but it don't matter to you, 'cause it really pours, and it really pours on me, and it really pours. Sky above, I ever lose us if I lose us. If I lose us. I put on a show where I pretend that I'm alright, I'm enjoying the rain, but a piece of my soul is where you stay. It vanished away with a cloud fell